in the end we shall achieve in time the thing they call divine. When all stars they smile for me. When all is well and well is all for all and forever after. Well, maybe in the meantime, wait and see. We love the all of you. Where lands are green and skies are blue. All in all, we're just like you. We love the all of you. I have to like refresh the page because here, I'll go side by side with this chick. I have to look at the words because I don't actually know this song, but I think I'm live. I'm pretty sure I'm live. Give me a thumbs up if you could hear me. But I'm just learning this song, and this song like really encapsulates, like the words like encapsulate like what I'm oh actually man. Hey, maybe you want to sing along with me. Hold on a second. Let's do a sing along. I gotta upload this picture. Yeah, why not? Okay. Maybe it's better like this. Oh, it's so small, isn't it? Huh. Oh, we'll just go side by side. I don't know, maybe you can make it. Oh, you were singing? All right, well, let's try to sing it together then. Does it start here? And in the end, we shall achieve in time the thing they call divine, and all the stars will smile for me. When all is well and well is all for all and forever after. Well, maybe in the meantime, wait and see. We love the all of you. Where lands are green and skies are blue. And all in all, we're just like you. We love the all of you. And when I cry for me, I cry for you. With tears of holy joy for all the days you've still to come. Aww. And did I ever say I'd never play or fly towards the sun? Maybe in the meantime something's gone. We love the all of you. Lands are green and skies are blue. And all in all, we're just like you. We love the all of you. That sounds fine, so I'll see you sometime. Give my love to the future of the humankind. Okay, okay, that's not okay, Clay. While it's on my mind, well, there's a guy who fits the crime. Those dreams still hard to find. But in the meantime, we love the all of you. Where lands are green and skies are blue. And all in all, we're just like you. We love the all of you. Love the all of you. Where lands are green and skies are blue. We're just like you. We're just like you. We're just like you. We do the best we can around here. What's up? What's up? What's up? Cheers, big ears. Jupiter is going direct here in a couple, 2, 3 few hours. And here, let me look at this. I have. So actually, let's put this up on the screen. We're gonna go over this astrology tonight, starting today with Jupiter direct and the moon's in Sagittarius, so it's kind of like celebratory, but I haven't even felt like drinking today, which is odd. I should be having a PBR and I'm just not. I'm having this peach Waterloo thingy. It's like a sparkling water. It's lame. I could go for a beer, I guess, but I don't know. The energies have been so weird. If you guys are not feeling too private, like what's your mood right now? How are you feeling? Have you been feeling hungry, sleepy, or like what's the temperature? Let me get a temp. Here, I'm going to scooch this closer because I need to like type on this while it is recording too. Cheers. Okay. So everything sounds okay and looks fine. Okay. All right. Well, yeah. Pretty low key you've been feeling, Josie. Yeah. Oh, let me take this off. Thank you for fine-tuning your free will and intuition with me. I wonder how many people will be here. Thank you for being here, Josie and Dead Wolf. Or what's your name tonight? Oh, I got the Trinity. I got Dead Wolf, Patent Wolf, and Dead Wolf HQ. You're a little better this week? Yeah, you had that cold, huh? Good. I'm glad. All right, let's get into it then. Here is the chart for today. Let me take this off of here. You guys know where to find me. I want to talk about a lot of stuff. Jupiter's going direct today. Does anybody have any type of feelings or feel any kind of way about Jupiter going direct? Because I don't know if I like it or not. I have some trepidation because it's an amplifier. So depending on what vibes we'd like to, I mean, I like amplifying Cancerian vibes, like, and honestly, like, above all, here, I want you to see this. Oh, let me show you this hat. Bonnie Plants. Shout out Bonnie Plants. And shout out Denver Fire Department. I'm kind of getting in the vibe here of some St. Patrick's vibes. My friend gave me this shirt. I think on the back it has like St. Patrick's stuff on the back. Okay, so Jupiter obviously, well, maybe not obviously, but Jupiter rules. I'm pretty sure like everybody here, everybody coming to this ever to click on this would probably have a working knowledge of astrology, but I'll just talk. So the fridge goes. Jupiter rules over the zodiac sign of Sagittarius. So with the moon being in Sag here, for most of the day until it goes void, of course, tomorrow morning, like super, super early in the morning. So most of the day, the moon's going to be in Sagittarius, and Jupiter going direct is sort of amplifying the the mutability, especially emotionally. And I think especially within the people too, because like reading a chart, this is like something that I've been encouraged, and thank you guys so much for like going down these rabbit holes with me. But I'm used to looking at charts for people, and now I'm looking at charts for time and moments in time, and it's so beautiful to me. And this is not something that I had on my bingo card, and I love doing it. So thanks for fine-tuning your free will and intuition with me. What's up, Stephen? It, is that another? Wait, I'm trying to remember where I know, gosh, Robert Phoenix? Hi, hey, what's up? Moo moo. Moo moo to the Jujus. Um, oh, that's another thing I was thinking about. Oh my gosh. Speaking of like juicing up at the gym, speaking of juice, I have not seen this like religion literally in the news so much as recently. Like I have never even heard that word so much as recently. And I noticed that Jupiter is amplifying this. Like language is powerful, right? Sounds are powerful. And I've noticed that with Jupiter, and it's sitting right on 15 degrees. Sirius is super close. Sirius goes anywhere between, well, let's look. Okay. So let's do an overview. Jupiter is sandwiched over here between two fixed stars. Kind of talking with Mercury at 13 degrees of Pisces. I mean, it's close enough. I would call it a trine. And as they're having that conversation, Mercury is becoming more and more loud. And Mercury in Pisces is not at its strongest, and not to mention it's going retrograde. It's going over shit that had happened. What had happened was that's what that kind of energy is. It's Mercury retrograde in Pisces getting amplified by the bugle horn of Jupiter. But I would like to talk about that fixed star really quick. I think that I can show you guys some literature if I find it. Okay. This is from Astronomica Manilas, first century. I got this from the Astrology King website. Great place to go for fixed stars, asteroids. I believe he practices Uranian astrology, if I'm not mistaken, but he has like a Western tropical, like just I don't know. He just has a lot of information on his website, and I highly recommend astrologyking.com, Jamie Partridge. But here there's an excerpt from this book, and I thought that it was really vibe. Ascendant conjunct Sirius. Now, who has an ascendant conjunct Sirius? Put it in the chat. Who has an ascendant conjunct Sirius? I do believe. Next barks the dog, and from his nature flow the most afflicting powers that rule below. Heart burns his rise, frost chills his setting beams, and vex the world with opposite extremes. He keeps his course, nor from the sun retreats, now bringing frost, and now increasing heats. Those that from Taurus view this rising star, guess thence the following state of peace and war. Health, plagues, a fruitful or a barren year. He makes shrill trumpets sound and frightens peace, then calms and binds up iron war in ease. As he determines, so the cause is drawn. His aspect is the world's supremest law. This power proceeds from the vast orb he runs. His brightness equals or exceeds the sun's. Out far removed, he through the distant space arts feeble splendor from his azure face. Yet others he excels, no fairer light ascends the skies, none sets so clear or bright. Isn't that interesting? And there's a lot of evidence pointing to ancient cultures really revering and tuning into the star Sirius. And the star Sirius, from our perspective on Earth, yes, is the brightest star in the sky besides our sun. And then the next brightest star after that, and I don't know why these images aren't here because I uploaded them all before, but that's okay. I'll just put it here now. The next brightest star after Sirius, and obviously Sirius is a binary star. There's Sirius A, Sirius B. Like, we could get into the astronomy of it, I suppose. And maybe we will as we go along, but I just kind of want to look at these charts too. But the vibes surrounding Jupiter, the vibe, the three, they say in esoteric worlds that it takes three to make a coven, and in the Bible it says, when three gather in my name, three's an important number to a lot of groups. Three, okay, combinations of three, multiples of three, three as a trinity, okay. So with Canopus, Jupiter, and Sirius all working together right here, right now, it's just kind of interesting how awareness can help us work with these energies on a personal level and an empowering level. I guess you don't have to be aware of exactly how electricity works or where it comes from in order to use it and enjoy it, but in order to appreciate it, you kind of do. And in order to have it work optimally for you, you kind of do, you know. It's always kind of interesting to see the mechanics of what is behind the myth and what is behind the pathos, frankly. Because a lot of these fixed stars have really fatalistic interpretations too, right? Because back in the day when people were recording these shifts and changes in the weather, like this could start or end a war, and to this day it does. Okay, so Canopus is a star that, like, you can see this star in the southern hemisphere mostly, but I guess you can see it also like in Africa, like right around where Egypt is. And so I learned this from Ksenia Moore, and Her husband's name is David. I can't remember his last name right now, but he is a veritable resistor. Oh, what's a veritable resistor? Hey, Sharon, how's it going? Nice to see you. But from Ksenia Moore on her channel, she does Ksenia Moore astrology, getting star astrology. And he is David from Undying Stars on YouTube, but they did like a presentation the other day where they talked in depth about cannabis. So if you're interested in learning the depths of the myth and the depths of the astronomy as well as the astrology, they go over that really in depth. Like here, I'm just sort of giving us a framework for how we're going to look at this chart because I'm a Gemini. I like a poo-poo platter. Like I pick and choose what I want when I want it. Like I'm not fixed. I mean, I have some steadiness in my chart, like I'm a Taurus moon. But like when I go about doing things, I'm very open as to how it decides to channel through. But yeah, I decided to use these stars this time, and now we're going down the rabbit hole together. Thanks for going down the rabbit hole with me. Electricity, it must have positive and negative. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And batteries, electricity, magnets, our Earth ostensibly is a magnet and is similarly, I'm not sure how convinced I am, but I'm absolutely convinced about dynamics and polarities kind of shaping this reality, be them thought forms or even physical forms. But I'm also curious, like, what's in the little spaces in between? You know what I mean? Anyway, fixed star canopus is visible, as I learned the other day, from like, I think it's the 33rd parallel or so, where um, where Egypt is. So I guess what if you look south from that line, from that latitude, that you can see canopus like towards the horizon. It doesn't rise super high in the sky until you get like further south. So I suppose if you can see something, you're connecting with it, right? Or it's seeing you anyway, and maybe trying to connect with you, right? On some level. So up where I live, I don't see it, but some people in the world see it. So since we're reading this chart for everybody, then we're going to include it, right? So that's where you can see it from. What I found interesting, it has the spectral class A9 indicating the planetary nature of Venus and Mercury. Okay, Venus Mercury is idealistic, psychic, handsome, neat, lovable, refined, genteel, intelligent. Okay, we hope. Canopus, Argus. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. It's a white star in one of the oars of the ship Argo. So that constellation, named in honor of Canopus, the chief pilot of the fleet of Menelaus, who was killed in Egypt, by the bite of a serpent on his return from the destruction of Troy. The influence, according to Ptolemy, it is of the nature of Saturn and Jupiter. Okay, so he says it's of the nature of Saturn and Jupiter, which, okay. So here we go. Inflating the Jupiterian aspect of Jupiter itself, right? And to Alvitas of the moon and Mars. Okay, so everybody thinks that it's like got different energies. It gives piety, conservatism, a wide and comprehensive knowledge, voyages and educational work, and changes evil to good. Now, that's the part that I found really striking in this description. It's a first magnitude single star marking the rudder on the keel of the ship. So the direction of the ship, the rudder. Okay. Constellation Carina. Oh, Argo. Okay. The ship. Canopus is the second brightest star in the sky after Sirius. All right. Okay. Okay. So those are what is hanging out with Jupiter at the top of the chart in the 9th house up there by the Cancer symbol, by the like crabby symbol, the blue crabby symbol. Having a conversation with Mercury, who we've already determined is at the what had happened was phase of the journey. And Mercury is moving back, back, back. And Mercury is going to be talking and gossiping to the North Node coming up this week, too. I'd say that what we can use Jupiter's amplification and our own. Okay, so like Sharon, for example, and she was in the chat. She posted a video today that is exactly a personification of Jupiter amplifying and Mercury, Jupiter and Mercury working together. She was talking about speaking up for oneself. And a lot of times, people with Cancerian traits, people with a Cancer ascendant, it can go a few ways. To answer my little quiz from before, a person that has Sirius conjunct their ascendant is Elon Musk, I believe. And if you think about it, you know how they say sometimes you got to watch out for those quiet ones, because it's true. Like they're creeping in the background, all quiet and nerding out. And then they do these like extremes sometimes, like a crab will pinch and sever, right? Or hang on so tight and not let go as well. Like those are all Cancerian traits. Those are all traits of like the crab, but the crab thinks that it's protecting itself because it's so soft inside that hard shell can sometimes go to the extreme, right? Either it snaps and then doesn't really think about it. It's just an emotional reaction type of thing. So if we can think of people like that, that could be in the news, but in our personal lives, like where the way that Sharon was describing it, she was describing people who are empathic, people who are motherly, people who might be like borderline codependent, people who might have grown up in a home that had a lot of chaos or whatever. And it's hard for, such people to regulate the nervous system and to be calm enough to express through their throat and heart chakra at the same time, right? So with Jupiter in Cancer, it could amplify the need for vocalization with Mercury here in Pisces. And Mercury in Pisces, I mean, for what it's worth, it is compassionate communication and amplification of spiritual communication with your own spirit or communication with the spirit side of other people around you. Mercury in our personal lives can have to do with like how do we affect those around us close by, like friends, neighbors, siblings, cousins, like people who are near and dear to us and people who are in proximity in like our car, you know. So if there are any issues, personal issues in those aspects of our personal lives, like those are going to be amplified. So when I say there's an increase of luck, and like people talk about lucky this and lucky that, and like luck of the Irish to ya, and it's just like, okay, like, is that a compliment or what? Because like last I checked, I don't remember historically that the Irish were like, where can somebody tell you, please, or tell you, can somebody please tell me, um, was there like a certain like war or a certain situation or a certain historical event that kicked off the phrase luck of the Irish? Because what I recall in my veins, my veins recall a potato famine and a civil war and mass exodus and like crusades and like I don't remember when the Irish were so lucky. Like what? I don't remember, but I have a lot of Irish in me and yeah, I'm just wondering where did that phrase come from? I don't know my serious placement, but I could relate to the energy and description. Okay, Josie, you are an Aquarius sun and um so for you, that's going to be in your 1, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8th, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I mean, more or less from a sun sign perspective, that's going to fall in your 8th house. Sirius. It stays, it's a fixed star, so it's always right around 15 degrees of the zodiac sign of Cancer. Canopus, too. Those are both. I mean, Jupiter's going to move, but right now, for about the next month, this Jupiter is going to, oh, that's another thing. I don't know if I mentioned, Jupiter is going to sit here at this 15-degree mark at this really, really strong point. And obviously, we just talked about Canopus also having the aspects of Jupiter, further amplifying the Jupiterian vibes here. It's going to be there for like another month. So, I mean, that's like you know, back in the day at the club, the want wants are reverberating the waves, you know, the Piscean waves, right? And the Aquarian waves. I mean, let's not forget about Pluto. Let's not forget about Pluto creeping, 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 and having conversations over here with Venus and, you know, trying to talk to Saturn, like, you know, like, hey, like Pluto wants Venus to kind of like smooth the way before talking to the boss, you know? Um, it's tough to know who's the boss. I think Pluto's the boss at the end of the day, you know. Pluto's dark purple vibes, man. But Saturn is like how it gets done on Earth, you know. And then Venus is the honey. Hey, sweetie, love you, Nora. How are you today? Oh, Janine, if Janine's out there, oh, I hope you're feeling a little bit better. We have a friend who has like been having a heck of a time. Um, just like a little bit of a cold, just a little cold, but you know how like sometimes you get a cold and it's like hard to kick it? Ugh, annoying, huh? So yeah, so we just send her a little energy that she has happy times and that um exposure therapy. Yeah. So Nora, we were just talking about I'm not sure how I feel about the amplification of Jupiterian. Um, oh, thanks, Nora. I'm not sure how I feel about the amplification of Jupiterian vibes. It depends on who it's vibing for and with, but it's a whole ass, big ass vibe. Now, yeah, Pluto, talking with Venus, this can come through in a lot of ways. This is a really, this is kind of empowering the feminine to, especially like here in Aries, Venus in Aries is very, she can be sexually aggressive. She can be kind of like hot and then burn out really quick. She can be fiery and Venus is not comfortable always like Pallas Athena is very comfortable wearing armor. Um, and she's pretty close to Mercury. She and Mercury are actually kind of working together right now. Like I think that Pallas Athena is kind of helping this mercurial vibe to not go too far trickster way and to stay more along the lines of Jupiter instead of like thinking about how he's going to get to the North Node and charge up, right? Because like we said, Mercury is kind of swimming, kind of treading water in Pisces. Hey, Victor. Hey, Janine. Hey, oh, hey, Jen. Hey. Oh, Rafi. Hi. Love you. Um, but yeah, Mercury is like treading water in Pisces. He has to work pretty hard to get the point across. It's more of a like cloudiness and communication. It's harder to get the words right, but as long as Pallas is sitting there kind of like in a protective vibe with Mercury there, I think it's helpful. Pallas, I mentioned just because she's more comfortable being armored. Venus wants to be in the bubble bath. Venus wants to be back in Pisces in the bubble bath. Venus wants to be chilling with some chocolates, with some chocolate strawberries dipped. Venus wants to be with her lover. You know what I mean? Venus doesn't want to be wearing her lover's clothes because she got all fiery and passionate in Aries, and now she's doing the walk of shame in Aries's house and has to wear Aries's Mars's clothes. You know what I'm saying? Because her lover Mars rules over the zodiac sign of Aries. And well, actually, there is some, I guess, like mutual reception there because Mars is in her house and then she's in Mars's house. So it's kind of like a little less of a big deal, I suppose. But they're still not they're still not comfortable in each other's house. Like, when you're in your own kitchen, you can just find stuff better. Or like when you're in your own bathroom, you have all your little cosmetics and lotions and stuff that you want to use. Mars is opening Mars is like, I'm just looking for some duct tape, and he's just swimming through all this Piscean, Venus doesn't rule Pisces, but she's exalted there. I don't know if that counts. Rafi, can you tell me if that counts? Or Janine, if exaltation. But I just do think that Venus was just there at that Airbnb at Pisces, living her best life. Now Mars is going through what Venus did. I think that let's look at Friday the 13th because bringing that Jupiter amplification vibe throughout, okay, because that's obviously going to carry over. I was really kind of interested in looking at Mars conjuncting the North Node in Pisces on Friday the 13th. I think that a lot. Oh, it does matter? Yeah, Venus is exalted in, oh, no, I think she's exalted in Pisces, and I think she rules Taurus and Libra. But correct me if I'm wrong. But I mean, what I was trying to say is basically my vibe, or what I was trying to express is that Venus is comfortable in Pisces, and Mars, it's Mars's house, Aries. But yeah, Venus is exalted in Pisces, but she rules Libra and she rules Taurus. So, like, for example, if Venus were in Taurus or Libra, it would be like she's at her house. Like she has to host the party. What's up, Brandy? Um, Good to see you. When Venus is in Libra or Taurus, she's in her own house, which obviously she's comfortable. She knows where to find everything. She knows where to find her sartén, her frying pan, I mean, her blenders and everything like that. But the thing about Venus being at home is that she has to host the party, and she also has to, clean up after everybody when they, you know what I mean? Like she's in charge. So she does have some responsibilities when she's at home. She has a responsibility in Libra to make sure the relationships go smoothly. She has a responsibility in Taurus to make sure that there's comfort and money and food on the table. You know what I mean? But in Pisces, like she can literally kick back, take a bubble bath, and have a glass of champagne. Venus is chilling in Pisces, but Mars like is not. So the way I'm imagining it is like Venus was just at this beautiful Airbnb, like chilling, being doing Pisces Venus things. And then she left and went to Mars's house because she had to go to her boyfriend's house for something. And now Mars is at the Airbnb looking for Venus. Like, Venus, where'd you go? And she's like, dude, I'm at your house. I missed the message because Mercury is retrograde in Pisces, right where I was. And I totally, because Mars and Venus, they like love each other in the astrology anyway, and then in the mythology. So, that's how I feel about exaltations and rulerships. Um, I could see you being a double Taurus, double Steve, because you are very earthy and practical, and you also are very good with livestock. Um, Yes, so with Mars conjuncting the North Node on Friday the 13th. Okay, again, Palace is out in front. She's now having a conversation with this whole Jupiterian situation. So, Mars is basically, you know, the North Node is the last word, but Mars is very strategic, and when they're working together, they're having a strategy session. They're having a strategy session, okay? 8 is an interesting number, right? It's the infinite flow of things. It's the number that's over the magician's head in tarot, isn't it? And 8, isn't that interesting? Those two numbers, like side by side, are kind of interesting when you look at them in the chart. I'm thinking that there's going to be a dreamy strategy session. I would definitely watch in our personal lives for like more violent dreams. Mercury's not too far off from there anyway, too. So Mercury is going to come and talk to the North Node too. So they're all Mercury, the North Node, and Mars are all kind of in this together. And from a mundane perspective, obviously we can see some strategizing going on and different powers, like again, the power of three, right? The power of three. I think that's going to be very important, magically, mystically, numerically, and otherwise. Um, and Pluto talking to Saturn. He already did his thing with Venus. Now she's sort of on a standalone basis. Pluto and Saturn are working together right now, which is awesome. But again, in the larger scheme of things, in the strategy of like Aries things, Mars things, which we all know what those are. Again, I feel like Friday the 13th is it's Venus's day, but she's standing alone with that number 9, like the Hermit, like the 9 of Pentacles, like, you know, Venus is a lot of things. Like the Empress does have a shield, but like she also has a need for Mars as well. So just Friday the 13th, Saturday the 14th, and Sunday the 15th happen to be in the United States, like the weekend that a lot of us are celebrating St. Patrick's Day, because we love beer and green and Irish, you know? A lot of us have Irish heritage. Does anybody have Irish heritage in the chat? I do. My Irish blood is a pumping. Happy St. Patty's. Cheers. Well, cheers. I'll have a beer on the 13th. But yeah, Venus is kind of standing alone here. And in Aries like that, like I said, it's not comfortable. So always, you know, roll strapped, like always be strapped. You know what I mean? I'd say let's check out this next chart for the 15th, because on oh yeah, and I wanted to say something to back up. Tomorrow, the 11th, the moon is gonna be void of course, like super, super early in the morning, like 4:30 in the morning, Central Standard Time, 4:38. And it doesn't go into Capricorn until 11:07 p.m. tomorrow. That's tomorrow. So Haley Comet Astrology, I took this term from her. She said, when off course the moon is void, important tasks we must avoid. So, you know, signing contracts, doing anything with anything too super, super important, probably not happening tomorrow. But like I said, by the time we get into Friday with the conjunction between Mars and the North Node and that strategic meeting, then that's when we're gonna start to realize that things are cooking. Things are cooking. Things are starting to percolate. Then on the 14th, the day before this, we have the Capricorn moon void, of course, at 6:33 in the morning. So from about 4 hours early in the morning, the moon goes into Aquarius. And I just thought that it was interesting that on Pi Day, on Nerd Day, the moon's going to be in Aquarius. And I find that interesting too, because that's the night that a lot of people are going to go out for St. Patrick's Day. So what's an Aquarius moon? It's detached. It's oh wishing I had a PBR in the can, but haven't found them here. So Yingling, yeah. Oh, cool, Josie. Oh, you do? Truthwave has some. Rick Astrology says something along those lines. He says, be careful of comfort eating when the moon is bad. Be careful of comfort eating when the moon is badly aspected. Ah, Raffi, you are an Aquarius moon. So, like, is it easy for you to detach from situations? Is it easy? I mean, if you don't mind sharing. I think Maybe I should drop this link. Does anybody, hey, tell me in the comments if anybody would come on here and talk with me about anything, or if anybody wants to. Um, Thumbs up if you want to. Very easy to detach. Yeah, I find that on a personal level for your Pisces moon, sweetheart. Oh, so maybe you're an Aquarius moon, Sharon? Wow, that's great. That must have really been protective for you. Like from that last video, you had described some stuff like earlier on, and then like that can really protect us. That's so protect. Yeah, and the other thing about sometimes when people are too far detached from a situation, it means that they're able to compartmentalize things to the degree that like like remember we talked about, and I'm obviously speaking kind of in code here, but you guys are with me here. We had talked about that strategic meeting on Friday the 13th, right? We talked about that strategic meeting. Like these guys are dreaming up something, they're imagining something. The Mars, the North Node, the Mercury. Mercury can be a trickster energy. Mercury can be um, the magician. Okay, things that we do with our hands. And then we move along to, oopsies, to this day. Oh, I have to like go down here to this day, the 15th. So the 15th is Sunday, but I'm thinking between Pi Day, which is 3/14, Pi Day, nerding out, Moon in Aquarius, logic, reasoning, robotic, like being kind of like robotic. You know what I'm saying? How some people are kind of like robotic. So here we go. Pi Day, 3/14, Moon in Aquarius. Strategy meeting was yesterday. Now, you know, right about I think right about, yeah, the moon goes into Aquarius at 10:13 in the morning. At 10:13, at 10 a.m. or so on the 14th, there is the St. Patrick's Day parade in Chicago. Um, so I'm just saying they dye the river green. Or no, they dye the river green and then they have the parade or something like that. But that happens like right around that same time. So like if the moon represents people or persons within a sea of people, having that detached heart space, having that robotic energy, that could be like super interesting to watch like play out, right? Okay. And then overnight, Mercury and Mars, Mercury and Mars are going to meet up overnight at like 3 in the morning. So that's still kind of like the 14th. Like, because, think about it, the 14th, it's St. Patty's Day. People are going out. It's Saturday night. They're still rocking and rolling. It's like just been bar time, right? In the Midwest, like right around 3 in the morning. Actually, to be exact, at 3:03 in the morning. Um, oh, are you emotionally, sweetheart? Raffy. At 3:03 in the morning exactly, Mercury and Mars will be conjunct. So remember, there was that strategy meeting on Friday, then Saturday goes rolling along, and then Saturday night after bar time, Mercury and Mars are going to have a strategy sesh. Oh, how did that go? Oh, yeah, well, what are we cooking? Things like that. So, uh, oh, yeah. Hi, Mama Friar. Bienvenidos a Esperanza Bense. Donde la Esperanza Bense? Welcome to Esperanza Bense, where hope wins. Every new name is gonna get that greeting. Um, yeah, so with Mercury and Mars meeting like right after bar time Saturday night, like early Sunday morning, Let's check out this chart. Let's see what's going on. Oh, Mercury and Mars. Mercury retrograde, by the way. Remember, we talked about what a difficult time he has with that communication, with that shield, that fog, right? But it could actually work in the favor of people who want to communicate under a veil, right? Because Neptune rules over the zodiac sign of Pisces, and that's that veil energy that we talked about in the last live stream. Click on my channel, please. And if you haven't yet, please like, share, subscribe, tell your homies who might vibe. Last live stream, we talked a lot about veils. We talked a lot about veil energy, veiled energy, veiling yourself from other people's energy, other people working behind a veil, other people working with a veil. With Mercury and Pisces, it is veiled. So there could be communications going on that we can't see or know about. And that could be slippery, like a fish, slippery vibes, right? Especially with Mercury and Mars together. They're scheming and dreaming. They really are scheming and dreaming. And Mercury's going back to get something that he forgot about from the past. Like I said at the beginning of this live stream, if you didn't catch the beginning, I was talking about Mercury having that, like, well, what had happened was, what had happened was, so Mercury's going back to the past, dredging up all kinds of blackmail maybe, or even, in a positive sense. I'm talking about like on the world scale, like for a personal level, like for us, for you and me. Mercury conjunct Mars in Pisces could really motivate us to get active about going over our past and feeling some compassion towards the way that we were, or going back to retrieve parts of our soul, parts of our spirit, parts of ourself that maybe got left behind due to instances of trauma, or instances of like injury or guilt, or thank you, Nora, I love you. They say in some spiritual traditions that when you suffer something psychically, physically, even birth can be a time when something is traumatic, and like you lose part of your soul, and your soul can be fragmented, and it's good spiritual hygiene to be able to reclaim and be all of who you are, right? Just from an energetic perspective. So for us on a personal level, okay, maybe we could use the Mars Mercury conjunction, Mercury going retrograde in Pisces to like go through our dreams, write down our dreams. With Mercury retrograde in Pisces, it would be a really good time to write our dreams down, because when Mercury goes forward, maybe when it comes and crosses back over these degrees again, we can look at what we wrote down, and maybe we can see some symbology and put the story together. That could be a really useful way. Mars also cuts. Okay, Mars severs. So Mars can like cut through any type of fog that Mercury might be bumping into over there in Pisces. Mercury could be cutting, like, I just had this vision of like swimming in the lake. Being from Delavan, we have a lot of weeds in the lake, and Mars can be like the rudders that either get stuck in or cut those like greens off the bottom of the lake so that you could swim better. You know what I mean? It can be therapeutic, yes. But on a global scale, and I am kind of reading this chart for the quality of the time that like all of us are living under, and also how to work with these energies personally. Because I suppose that if all of us as individuals have a manageable nervous system and a degree of energetic sovereignty, we will have a container to hold more love, and the more of a container that we have. Like, I had a teacher when I used to shoot Kyudo, and like I said, if you go back in those live streams, we talked about Kyudo, but it's a type of archery, and he would always talk about big tree. And this is also a position when you do ballet. This is first position. first position. So I guess in a lot of traditions, you know, physically you can embody what I'm talking about, but big tree, first position. Yeah, first position, second position. Wait, how does that? Oh no, this is first position. This is second position. Third position, fourth position, fifth position. Okay, so that's ballet. So this is second position. But anyway, the more of a container that you have to hold love, probably the better in this day, right? And they say that the love you take is equal to the love you make. Is that what the song says? But, you know, I feel like once Uranus enters the zodiac sign of Taurus, which is happening, I believe, the end of next month, if I'm not mistaken. I think it happens right around April 25th, 26th. I can't remember the exact date. But when Uranus moves into the zodiac sign of Gemini, I think that right now, the practices that we put in place right now to calm our nervous system. And Robert Phoenix was talking about this morning on one of his shows. I can't remember if it was on Rumble or if it was on the Zodiac Weather, but he was talking about breathing. That's a real Gemini aspect, is that air, that breath. I think the more that we can get a handle on that now, the better, because looking down the pipeline, Uranus in Gemini is going to have a lot of electric vibes, and the nervous system might be tingling. You know what I mean? It might be better to start with a practice now so that you're already kind of ready for the tingles, you know? Okay, so but anyway, with Mercury and Mars meeting up really early in the morning on the 15th on Sunday, I would just be interested to see how the St. Patrick's Day festivities in the United States and around the world all play out. I say especially the United States though, because again, that Jupiter is amplified and you know, it's within 5 degrees of the Mars and Mercury connection. And, you know, Black Moon Lilith, interestingly enough, she just caught me out of the corner of my eye. She's at 1 degree of Sagittarius, and Sagittarius has to do with like foreign languages, foreign lands, higher learning institutions like colleges, and with Black Moon Lilith, retrograding from Sagittarius 1 degree in 24 minutes. And also, she is talking to Neptune. Neptune can be really delusional. Neptune can deal with mental health issues, and Neptune is pretty close to Saturn, which is like law and order, right? Saturnian structures, but there could be some dissolution, some disruption to the normal Saturnian structures that we're used to, the normal protections that we're used to. So let's keep an eye on that during the weekend. And then after that, on the Monday, the moon is finally going to go out of Aquarius the day after here. The moon will be in Aquarius almost all day until around 2:56 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then there's going to be a void of course moon until 6:15 p.m. when the moon goes into Pisces. So now the moon is going to catch up with everything that's been going on over there. So now the people, now you and me, okay, because the moon, when I'm reading the chart for like just the news cycle and stuff, the moon represents like you and me, like the people, like how do we feel? When do we learn about things? And so with that moon going into Pisces right around 6:15 p.m. Central Standard Time on the 16th on that Monday. I mean, that might have us being more aware of some of these things that were happening, because the moon's going to meet up with all those degrees that we just talked about and those conjunctions. So on the 17th, that's actually St. Patty's Day. That's the actual St. Patty's Day, is the 17th. And I just found it really interesting, this chart. Oh, also, I wanted to say something about, I wanted to say something about the chart for the 14th, I think. Sorry. Was it this one? No. I found something super interesting. I think it's the St. Patrick's Day chart then. St. Patrick's Day chart. Or is it? It is the St. Patrick's Day chart. Oh my gosh. Okay, so after Monday, when we have, the moon being void of, the moon leaves Aquarius, so all of this like detached, robotic, interesting energy that was going on between Mercury, Mars, Saturn, and the structures and the boundaries, like maybe not being there. So just roll strapped, especially if you're a college kid. I don't think any college kids are like watching this, but like if you're a female around college age, early like 20s or whatever, just like roll strapped, like you're good. But like I said, Venus is on her own here. Venus is on her own here in Aries, and she needs to be sure to wear protection, right? So on the actual St. Patty's Day, which is going to be that Tuesday, the 17th of March, 2026. This is a very, very curious chart, because here we see Mercury and the North Node having their conversation in the aftermath of the weekend. But now we're on St. Patty's Day, where the moon is involved, where the people are involved in this conversation, in this sesh. Mercury went back to get something. Mercury's going back to get things that were forgotten, or to communicate things that were behind. Mercury's going back. So Mercury's over with the North Node, and has already had the Mars conjunction, and now he's with the North Node right around, look at noon, high noon. And I ran this chart for Chicago, because Chicago, Illinois has a lot of Irish people and a lot of Irish pride. And a lot of my Irish pride comes, oh gosh, what's that one song? I love that song by Bando. I'm going on Western down to the South Side, where I'll sit and exercise my Irish pride. Fuck you, I'm drunk. Fuck you, I'm drunk. Throw my beer in the sink. I got more in the trunk. Fuck you, I'm drunk. Fuck you, I'm drunk, and I'm gonna be drunk till the next time I'm drunk. That's Chicago Irish pride right there. That's Bondo. They're like a Chicago band, right? But I think Flogging Molly might have like covered that song before, but yeah, so um yes, Raffi, totally. That's like finding something out and knowing we aren't going back. A last respite. Yes. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Someone wipe her up. Yes, please and thank you if you're the right person. Or if I'm the right person. um You better have some Guinness or PBRs. Like those are the diamonds that I strive for. But yeah, so with the moon, Mercury, and the North Node, yes, it's like the moon is us people going back and figuring out what Mercury, the North Node, and Mars were all strategizing about, and us being like disillusioned, right? And us being like, what the heck, guys? I can't believe, this is just conjecture. But this happens at high noon in Chicago, where there happens to be a lot of Irish pride. And you know what else they have a lot of pride about in Chicago? What do they have a lot of pride about in Chicago? Not the bear. I mean, we love our bears, but like, who is the most like famous person from Chicago ever that everybody is just obsessed with? Who is this magical, mystical person with the initials MJ? I know you know. Okay, number 23 from the Bulls, Michael Jordan, right? Check out Scorpio in this chart. Check out the vertex and Black Moon Lilith at 23 degrees of Scorpio in this chart, 2303 and 2333 to be exact, at high noon on St. Patty's Day. I'm just saying. Black Moon Lilith can represent like a dark feminine energy or a dark feminine force that is sort of calculated, because Black Moon Lilith is a point in the sky that is calculated. It's literally a calculated point. It's not actually, a luminary. And the vertex is where life-changing events happen, whether we realize it or not. It's like the sliding doors where it's like, oh, you could have gone on the L in this car, but you went on the L. The L is like the subway train, the elevated train. It goes underground and above ground, the elevated line. But like, if you're sitting in this car versus that car, it's these vertex moments where like you make a decision that actually changes course of either your personal history or history at large, right? So with the vertex and that dark Black Moon Lilith energy working together at 23 degrees at noon on a Tuesday in sunny Chicago, it should be interesting. We have Saturn and Neptune still pretty close at the top of this chart at high noon. Neptune at 1 degree at high noon at the top of this chart. There could be some Delulu, a frou-frou. You know what I'm saying? Like mass Delulu energy, or there could be one Delulu in particular with that 1 degree, but like the 2303 and the 2333, I just almost am curious, like how how that how that's and then Scorpio too, like that is so deep. Scorpio is investigative. Scorpio is gonna get to the bottom of things. Scorpio also is gonna penetrate. Scorpio is gonna be very masculine. Scorpio is Mars energy, and that Neptune, Scorpio is working with that Neptunian energy, because Neptune is water and Neptune is in Aries, which is a Mars ruled sign. And it would be interesting to see what if and what any sort of sessions. Sometimes I think about what people like, what the big people might be using as their like time clock. Sometimes I kind of am just curious, like, well, that looks interesting, or whoa, hey, that looks like it, you know what I mean? Not to like give anybody any ideas or whatever, but it just seems interesting, like how numbers are so magical and usable when used by the right people, but like I don't know how to use them, but I just know that people do use them. And I'm just curious. Whatever. I'm number curious. I'm numerically curious. Liddy Lou, hi. I'm with mom. Oh, honey. Ay, why? And she has all her electrolytes, mom. Is she dehydrated? Does she need or maybe she's been drinking too much water and she doesn't have enough electrolytes. Liddy says that her mom's blood pressure is crashing. She got it, but it's very low. Ooh, you're a Scorpio? Oh, David. Aha! Okay, so our friend David Todd here. I hope your mom feels better. Oh, okay. She had her electrolytes. I hope your mom feels better here soon, Letty Lou. Thanks for being here with us. Um, um, David Todd, that's so funny that you're a Scorpio because um you had that restaurant flambe after dark. Like that is just such a perfect expression of scorpionic energy. um it's a sensual experience, right? Like flambe is a a very passionate food, right? And it's a deep experience. um Good. I love you guys. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Um, yes, but with the Vertex and the Black Moon Lilith, I'm just curious, if any life-changing events might happen, some just like people stumble upon this and stumble upon that, and just all of a sudden it opens something. But they're standing alone, they're alone, they're in Scorpio, they're in the fifth house, they're creating, they're making baby over there. You know what I mean? They're planting seeds, they're making baby with maybe number 23. So I'm just curious how that's gonna play out. Um, and the double eights again, with the Mercury in the North Node. Those are infinite numbers, right? Numbers of infinity, numbers of affinity and infinity. So that's kind of interesting. Again, Jupiter amplifying the Mars, amplifying the palace, amplifying the butt hurt. I see Mars and Palace in Pisces as that, like, I'm gonna hurt you before you hurt me type energy. Or like I'm gonna feel butt hurt, or I'm gonna be in my feels and therefore I'm acting out, even though like I don't even realize what you actually said. All I know is how I feel about it. Or how I feel about what you did last summer, right? With Mercury retrograde. Hmm. Let's move on to the next chart, which is going to be the next day, 18th, Wednesday. Venus is squaring Jupiter at 11:08 in the morning, Central Standard Time. Then we have a Pisces new moon, and immediately, like immediately at the Pisces new moon, it goes void of course at 8:23 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then the moon doesn't get into Aries until 11:03 p.m. Central Standard Time on this day on Wednesday. So let's start from the beginning with the Venus squaring Jupiter. Venus is again uncomfortable to begin with in Aries. And so like I'm seeing this as sort of like inflamed feminine energy, like PMS energy, like rar energy, butting heads type energy. I feel like this could also be an amplification of like hot flashes on a personal level. So for us women that are about like that age, like that could really amplify like a hot flash or um a heated. Oh, it could also maybe amplify like the va 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 voom, like the heat, you know what I mean? But like again, like it could come and go because Aries is like the first fire in the zodiac. That's the match that gets sparked. So like once Venus gets like, if you are in a partnership with someone who identifies as female, with someone who's female, then catch it while strike while the iron's hot, because with Jupiter amplifying that Venusian energy in Aries, like she might be hot, she might be horny, but you got to catch it when you can. Like, which is, I mean, pretty much good advice all the time, but it could really be amplified on this day, with Venus squaring Jupiter. Like that could actually be a really good way to work this energy out, is just to have a nice, like, good sesh, really, to be frank. We have this grand water trine between Jupiter, the vertex, and at the top of the chart, we got Mars. So Jupiter, Mars trining exactly on the 21st, but today it's applying to a trine. So I mean, with water energy being amplified as well, again, people being in their feels, people maybe being a little bit more actively compassionate. I think that starts at home. I think insofar you have the capacity to forgive yourself, you have the capacity to forgive others. If you can be gentle with yourself, you can be gentle with others. But sometimes it does start like by being gentle with others. Sometimes I do feel like a big part of depression for people is like that they're not doing enough for others. Like, if you think about the people in your life right now, like if you have a friend who has a cold, for example, or if you have a friend who had a loved one pass away, like our Janice, her pops passed away like last week, I'm talking Portuguese to you. Eu falo português também. Eu posso falar em português se quer. Você fala português, David? Você fala português? I'm like, don't set me with a good time. But yeah, like I think that sometimes with a lot of water energy, there can be a tendency. Right now it's the springtime, so I think that there's in the northern hemisphere like more light, so people would be less likely to like delve into that. But with that water energy amplified, there could be an amplification of zoning out, self-medicating, feeling sorry for oneself, feeling disconnected, feeling like you're swimming and maybe even drowning. And you know sometimes a really good way in my life that I've noticed to get out of that mood is to not think of my fucking self, like to think about somebody else, like to just do something little, like even if it's just something silly, like just a little note in the mail, or a little text that's free, um stuff like that. And obviously, it's always fun when somebody remembers you too, right? But it can help with, that need for each other, right? That compassion. Like if we need an outlet, if anybody ever needs an outlet for your compassion, go ahead and hit that square with the like square little diddly things up there. What is that thing called? The QR code. Hit the QR code, man, if you want to show some compassion. If you want to let the waters flow, like hit the code, hit the QR code. Yes. And the like, share, subscribe for sure. But yeah, like, just an amplification of water can get people really in their feels with the Venus squaring Jupiter. And Venus is like not at her best. So let's just keep an eye peeled for that energy coming through in the collective and perhaps in our personal lives too. And if there's any like younger women in our lives that are just starting out, I say this because of like the Aries vibes, like the spring vibes, the first sign of the zodiac. And if she's trying to just get started, like in terms of like her connections or her business or whatever, why don't you lend her some support? I know you're far, but lend her some support. Saturn, Papa Saturn, Pappy Saturn. So with Venus squaring Jupiter in the morning, then let's move on to the Pisces new moon, which happens at 8:23 p.m. I believe it's at 28 degrees, like all these new moons have been for like since the freaking beginning of time, it feels like our moons have been at 28 degrees for like ever. But I think it's at like 28 degrees and maybe like 51 minutes. I don't have it exact on this chart because I ran this chart for the Venus square Jupiter aspect, because this moon is like a one and done. It's like in and out. Like, you know, if you haven't caught, this moon is saying, like, if you haven't caught the vibe by now, fuck you, because I'm going void. Okay, I'm out. Like, I've been trying to teach you about Pisces this entire time. Now we're at 28, 29 degrees, and now you want to, no, I'm done. So like the moon is immediately going void, of course, like as it right as it conjuncts the sun. Okay. So that burst of darkness, it's very precise. It's a very precise burst of darkness. Let me repeat that. It's a very precise burst of darkness. And then it's void. Then it's the void. Moon goes into Aries at 11:03 p.m. Central Standard Time. So Moon's going to catch up with Venus, and maybe bring some salve, you know, but still that's an uncomfortable situation for our divine feminine energy. But it could get really active, you know, maybe there's going to be a lot more women. Maybe we'll see a lot more women, like a lot more people, a lot more day-to-day people, like picking up martial arts. That's a great way to express and exercise that energy. Zen, what up, buddy? Dude, what's up? Oh, honey. Oh, people clutching to what needs to be released. Hard to watch. Oh gosh. Well, good thing good thing you don't see me in the day to day. I have a Cancer ascendant. I'd be like grasping to the last. Oh my gosh. These eclipses dragged me, though, not gonna let, yeah, the full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo. I felt the full moon. Can I get some feedback in the comments if you guys are willing to share? I don't want to like violate HIPAA procedure or whatever, you know what I'm saying? This is for entertainment purposes only. But that full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo had me feeling my body so much, like so much, like my body was speaking to me. Like Virgo rules earth, right? So earth, who we are, like what we're made of, what, you know, it rules the intestinal system. It rules our evacuation, our cleansing, our detoxing. You know, like Virgo is the opposite of Pisces. Pisces is over here where Pisces is our feet. Pisces is like where we're dipping our feet in the water, where we're dipping our toe in the water. Pisces is where we're doing the drinking, and the Virgo is where we're doing the detoxing. And let me tell you, that full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo had me. That's right. That's right. Gonna dust off my TV. No VHS. VHS. Oh, Zenzabelle, you're beautiful too. Thank you. Yeah. Um, you're lucky this isn't didn't somebody say they got kicked out of somebody's live stream for saying hello beautiful or something? Shit. Anyhow, on the 18th, we have this new moon in Pisces. Now, this is interesting because we just got done with that session of eclipses in Pisces and Virgo. And this is a new moon, but it's not an eclipse because we had the new moon solar eclipse in Aquarius already. So this is interesting that just this new moon was just like, I'm done. Like I've been doing the cycle here. Are we gonna have one more in Pisces? No, I think we're done. But anyway, I just find it interesting that the moon comes in, it makes its conjunction, says what it has to say, then it's out of Dodge. Things are void. Moon in Aries, not too comfortable, meeting up with Venus. So we might see an increase in normal everyday people doing more militant things, more exercise. We might see women, we might see an aesthetic, actually, we might see an aesthetic that's more masculine for women. I guess I'm kind of rocking that right now. I have like the trucker hat and the like fireman t-shirt. So this is an embodiment of Venus and Aries, tomboy energy, you know, stuff like that. Athletic wear, right? Might be a good investment. And obviously firearms. On the 20th, the moon in Aries is going void, of course, early in the morning. And the moon is going to be void, of course, pretty much all day on the 20th. So the spring equinox, Aries equinox, equal day, equal night, sun ingresses, enters the zodiac sign of Aries at 0 degrees. So we have this chart ran for that moment in time when the sun enters into the zodiac sign of Aries. Mercury happens to go direct this day, but like I said, the moon goes void, of course. The moon, which was in Aries since the 18th, since Wednesday, or wait a minute. Wait, is that Wednesday? Yeah, since Wednesday, the moon was in Aries late that night. The moon was in Aries all day Thursday. And now we're on Friday, the 20th. And the moon goes void, of course, at like, I said at 4:20 in the morning just because it's 4:20, then we'll remember it's around 4:20 in the morning. The moon goes void, of course, and it's going to stay void, of course, all the live long day, all the way up until tomorrow at 1:35 in the morning. So the moon is void, of course. So when the moon is void, of course, that means that, remember, because the moon represents the people like normal people in the big astrology. In personal astrology, the moon could be your chart ruler. For example, if you're a Cancer, right? If you have Cancer in your chart, the moon could be your chart ruler if you were born at night. The moon can mean different things for the people rather than for a person. But as the people, okay, especially for those of us who live in the United States, as we, the people, the moon especially represents us because our chart for the United States is Cancer Sun. And the moon rules over the zodiac sign of Cancer. And the moon also rules over just normal everyday people, whereas the sun would represent like a celebrity or somebody in the news or a politician or somebody that the light shines on. The moon reflects that light. Okay. So on the 20th, when the moon is void, of course, all day long, and we have the sun ingressing into Aries at 9:54 in the morning, so right around 10 in the morning, it's going to be the spring. It's going to be the spring equinox. So instead of like, this would be a great day to literally or figuratively plant seeds. This is a good day to like not do anything too important. It's a good day for a spring clean, as they say. The equinox is spring clean. It's a good day for that. Or you could have cleaned the day before and have this day be void so that, you know, you can just sit in the newness of the energy and determine how you're going to work with it, right? So then when the moon actually gets into Taurus, which is a great sign for spring too, right? We love Taurus. Taurus is great earth energy. Taurus is great money energy. Then we're going to have Mars trine Jupiter later on that night at 7:01 p.m. the next day. So with the equinox chart, I found some interesting things. So Mercury, first of all, is going direct at 2:33 p.m. So when Mercury is stationing, that means when it's slowing down and getting ready to change directions, things can go really, really haywire. So just because Mercury is technically going direct doesn't mean that voila. Hi, Heather. How are you? Oh, thank you, Nicely. Yeah, send tips, boys and girls. The PBR phone accepts tips from all genders and alien, whatever, like good good vibes, you know. Thank you. Hi, Heather. Happy Jupiter vibes. It's coming up soon. It'll happen in a couple of hours. Um, yeah. Thank you, Stephen. I appreciate that a lot. I appreciate all of you very, very much. God bless you. And God bless me too, you know? Um, yeah, man. So when Mercury goes direct at 2:33 p.m. on the Aries equinox, let us remember that things could go haywire, especially since the moon is void of course all day long. The moon is in Aries, void of course, and Aries is like kind of aggressive, so very aggressive. Um, Communications might just be off kilter. There might be some snapping. Like people might like kind of snap a little bit type stuff. And that could be in the big news. You could watch like, what's an interesting thing to do to watch the astrology is to watch like basketball games or watch the football games and listen to how the announcers like quip with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like with Aries energy, I noticed in the Warriors game the other day, with Neptune and Saturn and Aries. Saturn, like Aries is the sign of the baby. Aries is like the baby of the zodiac. And it was so interesting because I was watching the Warriors Thunder game the other day. I think it was like, I can't remember if it was Saturday or I think it was Saturday or Sunday. Anyway, um, I was watching it and Shaquille O'Neal and what's that other guy's name? Uh Kenny something or other. I don't know. The two announcers, they had like this really weird like year celebration and they brought out like a birthday cake and it looked like a baby's birthday. And there were these two grown-ass men with these like baby toys and it was like, "Oh, you're one today. It's your first birthday." And it's interesting because like I don't know what degree Saturn was at that day. I think Saturn was probably at 1 degree right now, right? Because what's the chart for today? Just out of curiosity. Yeah, Saturn's like, oh, Saturn's at 2 degrees. So Saturn's a toddler by now for us, but maybe the other day it was at like 1 degree, but um yeah, it was just a weird representation of this astrology in on the screen, like playing out in real time. And it was just bizarre. You know what I'm saying? It was like very literal and it was very bizarre. It was like Saturn, old, right? Saturn represents old, aging, um, like kind of like eating the youngsters literally, right? And then there's these two grown men in the sign of Aries being treated like and acting like babies and having a baby birthday party even like it was kind of strange. But yeah, but that's a way that we can look at the astrology together like we're doing now and then apply it to the symbols because everything is symbolic. Every mother thing is symbolic, y'all. And when we start putting these signs and symbols together and creating like a, a matrix for ourselves to architect, we can use the signs and symbols from the places where we pick and choose, and we can look at other signs and symbols too without getting too drawn in or mystified or dehumidified by it, right? Like, if that makes any sense. Like, I think that we can watch things play out from the sidelines without necessarily having to sign off on the dark magic of it all. I think that two things can be true at the same time. Like we can understand the depths of the dark magic. Kenny Smith, thank you so much, Josie. Did you see that? Were you watching the game? Was that like bizarre or what? It was after the game. They did like this whole thing and they had Shrek on the screen and whatnot. And it was really bad. Um, I almost turned on the Golden Girls and just said fuck it, but I didn't. I was a good sport and I watched what was on. But yeah, I don't even know how I got off on that tangent, but I think what I'm trying to say is when Saturn is in Aries, we might see this symbology, and we also might see this symbology with Venus in Aries of women coming off more militant, women coming off even stylistically or even aesthetically a little bit more tomboy-like, or a little bit maybe there'll be like women who look like young men even. That's an aesthetic that I notice sometimes. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Okay, so on the equinox, maybe make an offering, you know what I mean? Maybe think about the creatures that could be like around us. Like, I mean, this is just a funny picture, right? But it is symbolic of like my belief that we have a lot of helpers around that are more than willing to converse with us and have a conversation with us, whether they are off planet, in planet, inside, outside, indoors, outdoors. I just think that like we're in a constant dance with life in realms that are seen and unseen. And whether or not we're like literally taking the mushrooms and seeing gnomes and fairies and leprechauns and shit, like I do think that this equinox with that moon void, of course, and us just sort of floating here could be a good time to just appreciate all of the help that we actually really, really, really have from a lot of other realms. Like we do not despair, Esperanza Bense. Do not despair, for there are realms who are available to help us. But here's the catch: we have to be gentle enough to want to play with, right? Like, who's gonna want to come in somebody's house when you're like standing at the door shooting, like before you even have a conversation? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of realms that would be friends, that would be friends, that could be friends, that are friends, right? But it's like really hard to reach us in the state that we're in this agitated state that we're in, you know? You know how it's like hard to talk to somebody when they're like super agitated? Well, that goes for realms that are seen and unseen. Hope wins. That's what Esperanza Bense means. Esperanza means hope, and Bense means wins. Oh yeah, did you answer me? Você fala português? Do you speak Portuguese, David? Você fala português? Give them the Snickers bar. That's right, Marcia, you need a fucking Snickers. Oh shit. But for real, like, I think that at the equinox, that would be a chill day to just remember your imagination and remember the magic of springtime and remember the magic of being open in the void, right? Being open in the void, but also being protected, because Aries, right? Like we keep saying, roll strapped. Okay. And I think that that is, yeah, the last chart that I had prepared for us. I wanted to talk about there's a Sun Neptune conjunction on the 22nd. So that's going to be on Sunday. The moon goes into Taurus on Saturday, the 21st, like I said early in the morning. Oh, and Mars is trining Jupiter that night. Okay, so with the Mars Jupiter trine, okay, Mars in Pisces. So we can see that in this chart. It's not exact in this chart, but we can see that. And we already kind of talked about that. That could be more of an amplification of that butthurt energy or that need to lash out or become militaristic over ideals. Okay, this is totally an aspect of actually like religious fanaticism. Yeah. Mars right there at the top of the chart like that. Yeah, with Pallas Athena too. So the the feminine, ooh, gosh, you know, that could be really, an interesting way that that could play out is on a large scale, is that there could be some forces that have a like a really um elevated feminine presence in their military, for example. Because with Pallas Athena at 18 degrees, she's within um distance anyway of the Mars there in Pisces. Um oh gosh, and Pallas is trining Black Moon Lilith exactly. Interesting. So, okay, Black Moon Lilith, I feel like she's in the background pulling the marionette strings, like she's kind of a string puller out in the background. Um, oh, David says, "Oh, yes, I know you do play drums and ride motorbikes." And David says, "My mom didn't have any Portuguese friends to talk to and married a Southern boy and learned." Oh, that's cool though. So you could hear it around the house, but you didn't speak it. It's always easier to understand a language than it is to speak it. Vocab is hard to come by, man. It takes years to like build a vocab for sure. It's just kind of like reading an astrology chart. Like over the years, you get more vocabulary, you get more symbols and glyphs and combinations to play with. Pluto's here working with Saturn too in this chart, and like, you know, there could be um clashes between like the depths of power, like I said before a couple of days ago, and the police system, or um the police and the like the police presence could be more militant and more, they could give more power to the Saturnian structures, to the police. The Popo could have more power over humanity, because with Pluto being in Aquarius. So that could be one size fits all policies. That could be more restrictions and boundaries to personal power, because with Pluto in Aquarius, that gives the power to the people. With Saturn making that sextile uh, to Pluto, I mean, that's an aspect to work with, maybe on a personal level, like, because you could empower yourself really to use the system to your benefit as you make these new starts with your dreams, you know, with Neptune close by. Okay. The sun is making a sextile to Uranus, and I think that that energy, we're gonna it's not it's not close enough or lasting long enough for I don't know. I'm feeling like sun sextile Uranus. That could be a happy accident. That could be a happy surprise. That could be things actually going the right way, really. But I do find it more to be a disruption in the currency and a disruption in the flow. Because, yeah, at the last degrees of Pisces, so when the sun is at 28 degrees of Pisces, making that sextile to Uranus, it's like at the fullness of Pisces, and Pisces is water, and it's like the flow. You know what I mean? And I kind of translate to currency too, with it being at the top of the chart in at this time that I ran the chart for, which is the time of the actual equinox. So at the time of the equinox, there could be a disruption in flow. There could be a disruption in and like we said, Mercury was stationing direct. So for example, there could be like you go to log into your information or whatever, and it might be hard to get the page to load or something like that. But that could be on a grander scale too. There could be a grander disruption of flow that day. Okay. So let's just keep our eyes peeled and ourselves I mean, there's not, you know what I mean? Like astrology is so much fun. It's for entertainment purposes only, right? It's a fun way to look at the weather. It's just like watching Ryan Hall. Does anybody watch Ryan Hall, y'all? He's amazing. I love his channel. But I love like watching the weather. That doesn't mean I can do much about it, right? But like you know, I can get a feel for like what vibes could be, and then I can be more aware of myself. And that's why I think we're here, is to, in order to fine tune our free will and intuition a little bit better, we can kind of get like hip to the weather, and we could get hip to the way that certain forces can be manipulated. And when those manipulations happen, they happen at specific times. And we could become hip to that, and we can remember that we can empower ourselves to have our intuition heightened. So as we go through things, when someone's saying something, we can feel if it's true or if it's not true. We can feel if it's safe or if it's not safe. You know, we can feel if it's a vibe or a bad vibe, right? Or a good vibe, right? So that's why I like to play with astrology, and that's why I like to play with you. And I like wouldn't mind pulling a card from the Synchronicity Tarot deck. I got this deck from a client turned friend. She was at the Contact Modalities Expo last year. So Zen, maybe you'll meet her this year. Randy, maybe you'll meet her. David, maybe you'll meet just Trish. Steven, not Steve Deadwolf, but the other Steven. I'm not sure if you're going, but or if anybody else is coming to Contact Modalities Expo in Delavan. Whoop, that's our card in Delavan, Wisconsin. But Trish was an awesome client, and she gave me this deck called the Synchronicity deck. Oh, how interesting. Um, oh, here, let me go like this so you can see. This beautiful deck. Yeah. And it was great because she handed this deck to me just as the word synchronicity was literally coming out of my mouth. She's like, "Oh, you mean," and I've told this story a million times, but just for those of you who haven't heard this story before. Speaking of funny card decks and Contact Modalities Expo, I plan on getting a really funny deck from a really funny person. More on that later. Um, Prince. Prince is what we got. Prince gives like Knight of Cups energy, right? Prince Prince is somebody who is protective, who is also romantic, who is also able to listen. A prince, you know what I mean? It's like Prince Charming, right? That's Knight of Cups. That's somebody who's emotionally aware, someone who could be romantic, someone who could understand when it's not appropriate to do like the flowers, or to be a good listener, or to pick up the kids from school, because it, you know, that's an act of love, that's an act of romance. A prince is somebody who is sovereign. They have their own kingdom, they have their own realm that they're dealing with, but they're also part of a larger society. They're also a leader, and they're also the next in line. So princely energy is coming through in our reading. And look how his colors match like what we're doing too. I wonder if there's going to be any princes in the news. Yeah, no simps here. Freaking Raffy. Love you, man. Yeah, Prince. Speaking of Prince, Prince is from Minnesota, from what? Is he from St. Paul or Minnetonka? No, Lake Minnetonka. I don't know. I think he's from around Minneapolis, Prince. So maybe there could be some news about Minneapolis and what's going on over there. Oh, Merlin. Oh, Baron. Oh my gosh. Yes. Baron Trump is a prince of sorts. And you know what I've been saying? I've been saying that he is the sleeper cell, like, of an entire mystical, magical process. I think that there is a deep mystical, magical process that, yeah, he is, um, he might be the prince. Yeah. Hmm. So if anybody hasn't checked out Wise Wizard Merlin's channel, he is a great astrologer. And like many of my friends, um, we fundamentally disagree. He is what would you consider yourself a Hellenistic astrologer? If you don't mind. I mean, I'm not trying to like poke you to chat or whatever. Like I'm just like conversational or whatever when people are here. But would you say you're I know you're a traditional astrologer, Hellenistic astrologer, but anyway, you can find out more about pretty much Hellenistic, yeah. You can find out more about his astrology practice on his page at Wise Wizard Merlin. It's the same, it's spelled the same as it is like here as his handle or whatever. Oh, Dead Wolf has a channel too. Raffi, have you been doing more on your channel? David, I don't think you have a channel. Randy, no. Zen, no. Steven, the other Steven, no. Josie's Jazzy Junk has a channel. But yeah, just like if you're curious, you can pretty much just go through this chat. We're all like YouTubers like helping each other out with a like, share, subscribe. So I really do appreciate that. The love, you know, like I do watch most of your videos, everybody here. Like I very much really enjoy y'all's content. So thanks for creating. Thanks for being creative human beings. Thanks for being human in this Aquarian age. I would like to, on the topic of human, more human than a human, I want to pull another card because I'm just kind of feeling like, but yeah, I'm going all in on YouTube. I've totally determined that I have hated Facebook since 2009. Like it's never been my option of like that I enjoy being there. In fact, almost every time I log in, by the way, I log in on Facebook. Like I don't even keep like apps like that on my phone or anything. And like when I log into Facebook, it just like gives me anxiety almost. It's just like not a happy place for me to be. I just don't, I feel so much like I have to, like I have to, and I don't like that have to feeling, you know? But YouTube, I love to. YouTube, I want to. YouTube, I love it because yeah, Josie's Jazzy Junk. Oh, she's awesome. And Heather. Oh, Heather has a channel, Woke One's Revolution. She's an excellent astrologer, and you are a really good card. Like you're very intuitive. And then Miriam is also on that same channel, and Miriam I think just came out with a tarot study course. So if you're interested in learning more about traditional Rider-Waite and ways of reading tarot, I think that she just came out with a study course on their Patreon that you can, whoop, there's our card that you can check out. The artist, awesome. I was just talking about someone being creative. All of us. Thank you for being artists. Thank you for being creators. Thank you for recognizing like human beings who make the art, you know? I know that we all use tools and stuff like that, but you know how like with the Uranus in Taurus, it's like been pulling us through the ringer physically, and now we're to the point to where we're like, oh my goodness, you know, who's a pure blood? Who's a pure blood, right? After that transit with Uranus going to Gemini, I think it's gonna shift from like who's physically a pure blood to like who is pure of thought, who's pure of mind, who like never even delved down that rabbit hole to begin with. Who has clean neural pathways? I think that's going to be the flex of the future, especially with Pluto in Aquarius. I think real artists are going to stand out, real human beings. And I think that people, I mean, I think that tools are definitely meant to be used, but at the same time, like, I'm not gonna get behind the wheel of a race car and go on the track and think that I can control the situation. My mind and my body are not equipped to keep up with that just yet. So we have Prince energy and we have artist energy. The artist named Prince. I'm saying like maybe something like is gonna come back around about him because he went from being called Prince and then he made that like Mercury glyph, like John D glyph kind of symbol for himself. Or wait, no. Uh-uh. It wasn't a Mercury glyph, it was an Ankh. It was like a stylized Ankh. But remember when Prince went from being Prince and then he called himself the artist? So I don't know. Kind of interesting. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what I got for what I just sort of had in mind. And also like I didn't do the full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo live stream. Those eclipses had me just like not wanting to be on camera, frankly. Um, magic is foot. Yep. And he joined our chat. Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, I love you guys. And you know, I wish I could talk for like another hour because I feel like the longer I keep these lives going, like the more people that they reach because I don't know why. YouTube, I can't figure it out. And you know, views schmooze, but I do feel like I have some sort of heart transference to give. I mean, even if what I'm saying doesn't even make sense, I think that there is a transference, and I'm hoping to reach the right heart chakras, you know? So, with that, I bid you adieu. And yeah, God bless you and God keep you with good health and sovereignty and lots of love, love, love. And if Jupiter, yeah, I know, Dead Wolf, you had a live stream for like 3 some odd hours the other day. Hi, darling, sweetheart. Hi. Love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for saying hello. Um, yes. Hello, if I Oh, yeah. Yeah, Merlin. I feel like that's gonna be the next wave of things, you know, after the whole 19 business and the jibby jab and all that. Now I think it's gonna be, are you mentally clean? Are you mentally clear? Thanks for sharing your light with me too. Thanks for sharing your light with me. Thank you very much. And how did that happen? Yeah, if I had a campfire, I might just talk. But I mean, I don't have anything else to say. Like, I have nothing to say. And it's like not a conversation, but like I can have like actual conversations for like days. Like, I'm a Gemini, man. I can, but I need, but also I'm a Gemini. Like, I like to riff. I like that other aspect of the mirror. And I don't like sitting and like for me, I'm just like sitting looking at myself. Like, so after the charts are done, I'm just sitting here like, ugh, like I'm good on that. Gemini gang gang. Yeah, you are what, the 15th of June? I'm the 9th of June. Can't remember. You said it in one of your streams. Oh, was it the 15th? I can't remember. But yes, Gemini. Oh gosh, I did remember. It's so funny. If Zenzabil is still here, I always say I'm like mind like elephant. Like I don't give myself enough credit, but like because I've smoked a lot of weed, but I remember shit. But then I forget shit too. Like I totally like will forget like what day it is, dude. I'll be like, oh, I thought it was the 5th, it's the 6th or whatever. Like I did that with YK's birthday. YK, by the way, at the beginning of this, I sang a song and I changed the lyrics to like YK, it's okay, Clay. So I hope that he notices and likes that. All right, well, toodles. I yeah, I don't have anything to say except I love you and yeah, you know what to do. And yes, if you would like a personal session or if you know somebody who would appreciate my sort of like stream of consciousness, visual sort of metaphorical, when I give sessions, I can say things that I wouldn't necessarily say like out loud on the internet. You know what I'm saying? Like when we have personal sessions, it's very in depth and personal. Oh my gosh, you guys. You guys. I had this client. I'm like looking around, like who's like seriously, this is why I can't do these streams because it's like I'm talking like we're freaking like sitting in the living room, like having a conversation. But anyway, I don't know if he listens to these. I don't think he does. Maybe he does, I don't know. But I had a client like a week, 2 weeks ago, something like that. Okay. Let's just put it this way. He had a Mars Pluto aspect for days. Eighth house. I'm like, I'll say it. I'll freaking say it, man. I'll say it. But when we're just reading charts like here on these live streams and stuff, and it's just like, my niece might click on one of these. This is not for children, by the way. And I've told my sister, like, I am not fit for public consumption, first of all. I'm just not. And secondly, like, I am kid friendly. Like, I love the little buggers and the little buggers love me, but I am not appropriate. Like, and I don't censor myself. Like, if I know that I'm doing like, even then sometimes it's hard for me to like keep my F-bombs in check. Like, even if I'm at a soccer game or I'm at like, I have to really like reel it in. Like, I don't censor myself very much, but even less so in a personal session. And a lot of you already know that. And thank you very much for those of you who have booked your sessions. It is so appreciated. It is so appreciated. Yeah, so please yeah, help me help people unravel their personal weather. And yeah, if anybody would vibe, you know where to find me, right? Click the links. Love you, bye.